Om Sadashivasamārambhāṃ Shankarācārya-madhyamāṃ Asmadācārya-paryāntāṃ Vandē Guru-parampārāṃ Akhandam Sachidanandam Avāng Manasagocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhaye Arthatopi Advayanandan Atita Dvaita Bhanataha Guru Naradya Vedanta Saram Vaksheyata Matihi. Okay, any questions, clarifications? We are looking at desuperimposition. Yep.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yeah, Sashi.
Sir, this Gyan Abhava and the Gyan Virodhi, what exactly is the difference?
Okay. Contextually, with respect to this, or with respect to the study of Vedanta, there are two ways of looking at ajnanam. Okay. Two ways of looking at ajnanam. One definition of ajnanam is jnana abhava, absence of knowledge. Abhava, absence of jnanam, knowledge. This is the definition that usually works in the world. I don't know physics, I study physics. I don't have knowledge of physics, so I gain the knowledge. Jnana abhava. Okay. But Vedanta looks at it slightly differently. How do we look at it? We look at it because when you are saying, come back to the jnana bhava. When we are looking at it as jnana bhava, we are looking at it as something that is not there. Ajnanam is not there. It's the absence of knowledge. Whereas in Vedanta we are saying, ajnanam is not mere absence. Why? Because even in the world as well as Vedanta is concerned, that ignorance of the rope made you project a snake. From non-existence, nothing can come. But the snake is not real, I accept. Snake is not real, but it has got some presence. And what the knowledge does is negate their ignorance. Therefore, we define ajnanam as jnana virodhi, that which is opposite of jnanam. Not absence of jnanam, opposite. That means it has got some degree of existence. Kinchit bhavam asti is the word used. Some sort of existence it has got. An existence enough to project a snake. An existence enough to project an ahankara, your conceptual self. At the total level, an existence enough to create 14 dimensions. And that's why we are describing it as sattva, rajas, tamas, etc. Now, sattva, rajas, tamas has not absence, they are presences. Therefore, ajnanam is presented in Vedanta as jnana virodhi, opposite of knowledge. Clear? You are too busy writing down. Are you clear about it, Sashi? Yeah. Okay. You are muted, therefore you will have to unmute yourself if you want to say something. Yeah.
It is enough for ahankara and total level you said 14 dimensions.
Yeah.
What is it? 14?
We studied it in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the 14 dimensions. Yeah.
This book
So look at the creation. There you will find 14 dimensions, 14 lokas. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? It's a big discussion we have. We will have an elaborate discussion whether it is jnana, bhava, jnana virodhi, etc. when we do Naishkarmi Siddhi. Okay. And I have some papers where there was some big debate, because there is a school of Vedanta from Hole Narsupur. Okay. Swami Sachidanandra Saraswati, he presents it as jnana bhava, and traditional opposes that. So there is a big discussion on that. When we meet live and we are doing that book, I will give you, if I can find it, the photocopies of those discussions. Okay. Yeah. In fact, my older students, Thursday students will have it. Where are the Thursday students gone?
Manisha was here only.
Manisha is right here. Manisha, you will have that copy of that discussion with you. Look into your papers. See if you can find it. Maybe you will be able to find it faster than I can find it. Because I shifted so many times, some things I just packed and left like that. Before I came back to this place, I shifted 3 times. Every 2 years I was shifting on an average. So certain things I just packed and kept in boxes. I am yet to unpack it. So Manisha, Neeta Ben, Meena will all have these copies. Okay. All those who were there in the Thursday class when I did Naishkarmi Siddhi. I may not remember Naishkarmi Siddhi, but at least I hope you can find the papers. Okay. Kamini also will have it. Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji will look for it.
Yeah, please look for it. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Karthik had a question.
Yes, Swamiji. This is related to the last class, where in the last class there was a discussion about, the actual jnanam happening either in Shravanam or it might click in Mananam or Nididhyasanam. This is just for my curiosity, Swamiji, because as I understand that, a while back there were these 2 schools in Advaita, the Bhamati school and the Vivarna school, where Bhamati used to say it's in Nididhyasanam and Vivarna was in Shravanam, and I think there was a big debate. I don't know much about it, but I was just curious why, what that was all about.
Yeah. Various ways of looking at it. The Bhamati school puts a lot of stress on meditation. Probably because it also depends upon the adhikaritvam of the student. No? The Vivarna school, which is the traditional school, not that Bhamati is not traditional, there are 1 or 2 minor differences. Okay? Bhamati is also accepted as traditional scholastic school. The Vivarna school is direct Shankara Bhashya, Nyaya Nirnaya by Padmapada, then Vivarna Prameya Sangraha. All this is a one line of books. Okay? Commentaries, one line of commentaries. All of them stick to one point. What is that? Knowledge takes place when a pramana is used. Knowledge of this pen will take place when my perception is being used. Okay. Therefore, when the perception is being used, that is when knowledge would take place. So now coming to Vedanta, the pramana for Vedanta is Shabdam, teaching. Therefore, Shravana. Therefore, where should knowledge take place? In Shravanam. Yeah. So knowledge always has to take place in Shravanam. The thing is, very often, teaching is an ongoing process. So when a statement is being made, it may click, that is true. When he says that is true, that knowledge has taken place. But the class moves on. Even though the teacher gives some pauses, etc., still the class moves on. So when the class moves on, the full impact of that knowledge is not there. Plus, even if the vision is there, that is true, and you have stayed there for a couple of minutes, okay, it may not become a fact of your life. So for that meditation, we will deal with that when you come to that section. Next section is that, yeah. So that is only two differences, where Vivarna says very clear-cut knowledge has to take place in Shravanam alone. But since most people require meditation, Bhamati emphasizes meditation more. That's all. Because outside the pages of the Upanishads, where do you find students who will just listen and be free? We not found that, All of us have to go through that nididhyasana, this thing. Yeah. So the major difference is only in the emphasis, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, there are some technical points, but that's okay for the time being, yeah. When the class graduates enough for me to be able to teach Vivarna and Bhamati comparative studies, that time we will deal with it more. Very few teachers teach it as a comparative study and all, because by the time you reach that level, you can read on your own and understand. But for that, a lot of Sanskrit is necessary, and technical Sanskrit is necessary. Therefore, I am going to introduce you to some idea of the technicalities in Tarka Sangraha when I do that. It is like an old, then the nature of the class will change slightly. It is like an old English poem I read. Gillespie is supposed to be one of the British heroes, and he is leading a rescue team. So he tells us, the people, who is willing to come with him, he that he can may ride with me, he that he can may ride ahead. Okay. Riding alone, riding at dawn, Gillespie came to old Vellore. So, those who can keep up, keep up. Those who cannot, take a step back, go back to fundamentals again and come back. Okay. There is no judgment here. There is only what I need to grow. Only what I need to grow. Don't get scared, give it a shot. Okay. Tarka Sangraha introductory book is the same for everyone. Nobody has studied Tarka here. Therefore, you are all in the same boat. All in the same boat. If you can pick up some basic rudimentary understanding of Sanskrit, that will be good. Yeah. Some rudimentary understanding, yeah. It will be good. I know some people here have been studying Sanskrit, like Sunita, Kavita and all has been studying Sanskrit. I don't know about the others. Anyone else has been studying Sanskrit here? Good to pick up. Yeah. Good to pick up.
Graduation. But that is many years back.
That's like me studying French in school. I don't remember anything. Très bien, s'il vous plaît, garçon. That's few words I remember. That's all I remember. If you remember more than that, good for you. Yeah.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Shoot.
Can I ask now? Or
Yeah, shoot.
to the text, it's related to Vedanta, means when I was thinking about it. So it's not maybe not directly related to the text. So should I talk about it?
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah. So Swamiji, when I was thinking about it in this, like maybe some Nididhyasana or whatever, it is Aikyam. We are talking about Advaita school of knowledge.
Yeah.
So for us it's Aikyam. But when we see, of course, then there is this functional world. So this
Because you are trying to do it academically, you are trying to categorize. All your life you have been studying academically. Even now, one thing I like about you is you have kept your studies going. All your conferences, all doctors go to conferences only to enjoy a holiday. But you go to study. I've seen that. So that's a good point. The only flip side is, because of that, it is often taken as academically. The tendency to take these studies as academically is there. You are doing this all the time. Like what you are doing all the time, comfort with this dichotomy. Are you walking on a round earth or a flat earth?
Flat.
Is it round or flat?
Flat.
Yeah, but is it really round or flat?
It is round.
So now, are you not comfortable with the dichotomy?
Yeah.
Earth is round, but I am walking on a flat earth.
Yeah.
There is no sunrise, no sunset, but I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
So you are comfortable with that dichotomy. Why? Because for a long time you understood the earth is round and it is integrated into you. At the same time you are walking around on a flat earth. So similarly, when you integrate this knowledge of that fact that there is one pure consciousness, Aikyam is what? Aikyam is between you and the consciousness. Between you, the Jiva, and Ishvara, the Aikyam is presented. What is the reality? There is only one consciousness. And what is the world? Appearance. What is the reality? Round earth. What is the appearance? Flat earth. So when you are comfortable with this knowledge, there is no dichotomy. Where is the dichotomy between round earth and flat earth for you? Tell me. It's not there. One is reality, one is appearance. One is reality, one is experience. One is reality, one is experience. No? The problem is we take experience as real. Again, the whole problem comes in. Yeah. So that comfort with that knowledge. In the beginning, there will always be a little bit of a struggle like that. True. That's why a little bit of prasada buddhi, etc., becomes necessary. Yeah. Clear?
Yeah.
We have to work on that. Yeah.
This. Yeah.
So which was the verse we did last time? 177. We have to do. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So a couple of verses, simple verses. Okay. No other questions, I assume? I presume. Why is Satish Mehta upside down? I don't know whether he has recognized it, but Satish Mehta is upside down. Okay.
Swamiji, he's Urdu Moolam.
Yeah. Or he's doing Shirsasana.
No, his phone must be that,
I know. Okay. Okay. So let us go ahead. Okay. He is just pointing out the differences between a worldly perception and Akhandakara Vritti. We have seen that before. He is just pointing it out because there is one thing I like about these writers are there is no intellectual slackness, What has to be said is going to be said, either you know it or not, Yeah, which is a good thing. Okay, therefore he says, Tatahi ayam ghatamiti ghatakasha karita chitta vrittihi ajnatam ghatam vishikritya tadgata ajnana nirasana purasaram swagata chidabhasena jadam gatamapi bhasayati. Now what happens in worldly perception? Ayam gataha. You have a gatakara karita vritti. A gatakara vritti you have. What is that vritti? This is a pot. Ayam gataha iti. Okay. What happens that? Okay. That vritti, gatakara vritti. What vritti will this be? Vritti Vyapti. What does it do? Gatam Vishiyakritya, objectifying the Gata, taking the form of the Gata. Tad Gata Ajnana Nirasana Purasaram. It negates the ignorance that is surrounding the pot. Then what happens? Swagata Chidabhasena, then the consciousness manifests in my mind. What does it do? Jadam Gatamapi Bhaseti, it illumines, objectifies, shines. What? The Gataha. The knower recognizes there is a subject-object relationship created. This is how I have put it. Gata kara karitavati. Imagine this is a gata with a pen. Okay? The mind taking the form of the pen negates ignorance about the pen. Then I, the knower, objectifies it and says, this is a pen. So in the statement, this is a pen, there are two processes. Vritti Vyapti, Phala Vyapti. Vritti Vyapti because it has to negate ignorance. Phala Vyapti because their relationship has to be created. Clear, na? We have done this before, this is revising it.
The revision. So mind taking the play.
What is it? Who's
shape
speaking?
of a pen.
One second, who's speaking?
Shashi.
हाँ Sashi, बोलिए.
So mind taking the form of a pen. So anything which I see, this I am not able to experience.
Experience what?
That mind में pen आ गई.
Sorry, you have to speak a bit louder.
Yeah. So vritti vyapti, you said, I look at a pen,
Yep.
then mind takes the form of a pen.
Yes.
Does it really happen?
Doctor, how will you explain it in science? Any of the doctors here, will you please explain it scientifically? Perception. Then we will correlate and see.
Okay.
That's why scientific knowledge helps. Who would like to go?
Yeah. See the messages, they come. I don't know how to explain it because it's very technical. There
Okay.
are
Correct me if I am wrong. I am going to put it non-technically. The light is reflected from the object to your eyes. It forms an image on your retina. That image is transmitted through your nerve cells to your brain. And the brain recognizes it. Correct? In a nutshell, without all the technicalities, in a very super simplified manner. There will be technicalities, details, etc. are there. How the light receptors are connected, how the light receptors become electrical energy in the nerves, all that. Then how the cell communicates, all that technicality. But negating all the technical, in the most simplest terms, this is it. This much Sashi you have studied in school.
I don't know, must have studied.
God.
Yeah.
Then before you ask the question, go study perception and come back. I am explaining a simple perception scientifically using, I don't know much of it. Then how do I explain it to you?
I have followed. वो school का याद है. I have followed, sir.
Have you followed what I have said?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the same thing Vedanta is putting slightly differently. Now the theory of perception in science is based on photometry. What is photometry? The study of light, the function of light. That means without this light being reflected on your retina, there is no perception. That's why if you have a retinal detachment, you don't have perception. If you have problems in the muscles adjusting the play of your lens, you will need support, help with glasses. Therefore, the whole thing is based on photometry. It works. Where it doesn't work, it does not explain error. When thing outside is rope, why are you seeing a snake? If the eye is working as a camera, and my camera, I am trying to take a shot of something that is there, it will show insufficient light. The camera on the phone will not mistake the rope for a snake. My eyes, they say, are working like a camera, but it makes that mistake. The mistake is not in the eye. In pure biology, and medicine is based on pure biology, they will say it is brain function problem. Well, how did the brain function problem suddenly come up? Therefore, there is a whole body of literature called Gestalt that studies with it. Psychology. Now you have to go into the mind. The nature of the mind, physiologically, you cannot explain it. Physiologically, how will you explain error? It should show insufficient light. Then there should be something else that is concluding. What is that? The mind, which is not accepted in medicine, because there is no mind separate from the brain in medicine. In pure biology and the biological paradigm that medicine follows, there is no mind separate from the brain. Psychology accepts a mind separated from the brain. Vedanta also accepts it. Therefore, in Vedanta we will say, whatever the image formed in the retina is, unless the mind takes the form of the object, it does not, your cognition does not start. Once the mind takes the form of that object, you have to objectify it and say, this is a pot. Then error can be explained. Because of insufficient light or whatever other reason, the mind, instead of taking the form of a rope, took the form of a snake. And what you saw, what you objectified, was the thought which is snake thought, not rope thought. The error can be explained. Is it scientific? Of course not. Everything doesn't have to be scientific. Is this clear, Sashi?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Swamiji, that just little.
But what is that?
Nanda Kishore.
Yeah, Nanda Kishore, tell me.
See, you said that that mind takes the form of a snake. So it is an error in the mind, right?
So your mind cannot take different thoughts of different things that are not there.
So that means it is a similar thing.
There is a. I am telling you, can your mind not think of a camel right now?
Yeah, if you tell.
But is there a camel?
No.
Then, so your mind can take any form. Now I can give 1001 psychological reasons for why your mind thought like that. But all of the psychological reasons has to have one underlying dialectical reason, that is because you are ignorant of rope. Because you are ignorant of rope, you misunderstood it to be something else. Your pramana operation had issues. Am I making sense, Nanda Kishore? Yeah. Okay. So that is where the whole thing is. Yeah, Karthik.
So Swamiji, I mean, in some places it is described as the mind goes out and
Yeah.
takes the
Yes.
form of the
Yeah.
object.
Yeah.
Is that because they want to prevent subjective idealism and things like that? Or, I mean, I'm just
No,
curious
no.
what-
I'll tell you why that thing comes come. It is come. Okay. Now the modern scientific model is photometry, because without light you won't see anything. Now there are cases with the practice of yoga, qigong, martial arts, etc., where a blindfolded person will see. We have blindfolded combat. I mean, combat with your eyes open is difficult. And you blindfold yourself, you don't know where the opponent is. And he comes at you and you have to defend and attack and this thing. And very often, the blindfolded experts win on top of it. And if you ask them, they say, we saw that hand coming, we saw this thing coming. Now, how do you see that? So I am speaking from my experience in this field. That similarly, there are other fields. Okay, like in advanced practitioners of yoga, when they want to know anything, they'll just focus on the thing. The mind will go out, form that thing, and they'll come to know. That involves for a high level of dharana. There are sutras in the Yoga Sutras that deal with this. So, when the Vedanta created a model of perception, it took everything into account. And there's the mind going out, not just photometry.
Swamiji,
Yeah?
Nita, may I?
Yeah, please.
The same thing like Shravana, that arrow, Shabdavedi Ban of Shravana which killed Dashratha, is it the same process?
What Ban, what Dasharatha? I don't follow.
No, I mean, sorry, Dashratha fired an arrow just by hearing the sound. Which
No,
killed
that is
Shravana.
different. That is different. That's slightly different. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That is inferential. That is using perception as inference. Yeah. This is like Arjuna firing that arrow, looking down, not looking up at the target.
Matsavida.
Yeah. Because if he is going to look at the target, he will never get it. That was the trick there. If you are going to look at the target, he will not get it, because your perception will, your physical perception will interfere with your purely mental perception. So, to include all these systems, they created that logic. I generally don't bother about it when I am talking about Vedanta, because there is a known thing of perception which everyone is following. But one thing is definite, mind has to take the form. Whether mind goes out, light comes in, whatever it is, mind has to take the form. No, that much is common in either paradigm. So I stick to that much. Don't worry, in Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Paribhasha, we will see the other paradigm. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Gatakara Vritti and Phala Vyapti. In Gatakara Vritti, there is Vritti Vyapti and Phala Vyapti, both. Then he is quoting from Panchadashi just to prove that this is an old thing, not something new that he is talking about. Tadaktam buddhis tataschida bhaso dvavopi vyapnuta ghatam tatra ajnanam dhiya nashed abhasena ghatam spuret. Buddhi, the thoughts, plus the chidabhasa, the manifested consciousness, both cover up the pot, both pervade the pot. The dhi, the thought, negates ajnanam. The chidabhasa, the knower, I, consciousness, brings to light the pot. Brings to light means what? You can say this is a pot, subject object. You objectify the pot. Okay. Then as far as Akhandakara Vritti, the second operation is not there. We all know that. There is no need for a subject-object relationship. So he gives an example. Yatha deepta prabha mandalam andakara gatam gataparadikam vishikritya tadgata andakara nirasana purasaram swaprabhaya tadapi bhasiyet iti. He is giving an example to illustrate it. Okay. He says, Deepa Prabha Mandalam. The light coming from a source of light, either the sun or a lamp, whatever. Okay. Andakara Gatam Gataha. The pot which is shrouded in darkness. Okay. Vishikritya, it objectifies. The lamp, the torch objectifies it. And Tadgata andakaram niraskarna puraha. Negates the andakaram around it. Not only that, swayam prabhaya, by its own light, it lights up. Gatam api bhasayati, it lights up the pot. So the light does two things. The light does two things. Negates darkness and brings to light the pot. Similarly, your buddhi negates ignorance and you, the knower, lights up the object, whichever object you are seeing. Because without you, the sentient being, there is no perception. Buddhi by itself cannot perceive. Why can't the buddhi perceive on its own?
It is jadam.
How do you say it is jadam? How do you say it is jadam?
The Panchbhuta, no?
Have you experienced a jada buddhi or a thinking buddhi? Even if the thinking is not great, it is a thinking buddhi or a jadam buddhi?
Thinking with
Then how do you say it is jadam?
So Swamiji, I am conscious of intellect, but intellect is not conscious of me.
One second. Answer my question now, don't digress. How do you say it is a jada buddhi?
Because I can objectify it.
yeah.
Huh?
Because I can objectify it.
If I objectify you, you are jadam? Yes?
Yes.
What is the buddhi made up of? You have to go now into the paradigm of creation. What is the buddhi made up of?
Sukshma Sharira.
Huh?
Sukshma Sharira. Buddhi is a
Buddhi is Sukshma Sharira. What is it made up of?
The Panchabhutas. Sukshma, yeah. The sattvic part of the
The total sattvic aspect of the Panchabhutas, the Tanmatras. Tanmatras are jadam or inert?
jadam.
Akasha, Vayu, jadam, no? So your buddhi is jadam.
Yes.
Then how does it become sentient?
Because of Chidabhasa.
Because of Chidabhasa, exactly. Because the consciousness is manifest there. Therefore, buddhi chetanatam gataha. It becomes conscious. Don't forget basics, okay? Therefore, when the buddhi is taking the form of a thought of the pot, is it jadam or chetanam?
Chittanam.
Chetanam, because of the presence of consciousness. The buddhi cannot think unless consciousness is present. Clear about this?
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas in akhandakara vritti, since the consciousness itself is the subject matter, there is no need for vritti vyapti, for phala vyapti. There is only need for vritti vyapti. Why? Because in your mind there is ignorance about the Atma. Therefore, that ignorance about the Atma has to go. Therefore, vritti vyapti has to be there. Phala vyapti not be there because it is swayam prabha, swayam siddha. You know I am without any thought. The ignorance only with respect to what I am. Clear up to now? Okay. Keeping this in mind, we have two definitions of pramana. You remember those two definitions? Long back में बोला था. थोड़ा टाइम हो गया. Yeah, Nita, you are saying something?
Yeah, anadhigatam, abadhitam, jnana-janakam iti pramana.
Okay, that is one definition. Okay. There are two other definitions.
Jnana Nashakam.
Huh?
Ajnana Nashakam.
And?
And
Samakaranam iti
Jnana.
Okay, two definitions. In this context we are talking about Ajnata Jnapakam Pramanam. What you don't know, the pramana makes you know. This is the most common definition of pramana. Ajnata Jnapakam Pramanam. What is not known to you is brought to your knowledge. Ajnata Jnapakam. To counter this, there is another definition which says Ajnana Nashakam Pramanam. that which destroys ignorance is a pramana. Ajnata Jnapakam is a good definition if you want to know what is in my pocket. If you want to know what is in my pocket, do you know what is there in my pocket? Don't know. Ajnata Jnapakam is a cell phone. The cell phone was not known to you that is there in my pocket. Therefore, Ajnata Jnapakam, by your pramana, it came to light. But with respect to the Atma, is the Atma Ajnatam? Always known as I, na? Therefore, what do you need pramana for? Only destroying the ignorance. Therefore, Ajnana Nashakam Pramanam. Other definitions are common. Abhadita, Jnana Janakam, etc. is common for both pramana. Anadhigata, Abhadita, Jnana Janakam. That's common. Yeah. Clear up to now? Okay. If it is clear up to now, then the question of Akhandakara Vritti is clear. This much is de-superimposition. Okay? Your knowledge taken care of up to here. Everything is crystal clear. Now, baat ho gaya actually. You all can walk away saying Muktoham, Nitya Shuddha Mukta Swabhavoham, Naham Sishya Natvam Guruhu, Chidananda Rupo Shivoham Shivoham. Okay. But he says there is a couple of chapters left still. Okay. Now what is that? Okay. The 5th chapter, he talks about the steps to self-knowledge. Why is the necessity of this chapter? Okay. Because look at it. After Akhandakara Vritti, now why do you need anything else? और कुछ ज़रूरत है क्या? He started from where you are. He talked about what the problem is. He talked about the creation. He talked about the solution. He talked about the definition of the Atma. He explained Tattvamasi. You accepted Aham Brahmasmi. बात खत्म. बात खत्म. Matter is over. But sometimes it's not over. It's over and still not over. What do you mean so not over? He explains that. He explains the need for the next chapter. Evam bhuta swaswarupa chaitanya sakshatkara paryantam shravana manana nitidhyasana samadhi anushtanasya apekshititva te api pradarshanti. Evam bhuta, in this manner, swaswarupa chaitanyasya, swaswarupa chaitanyam, the chaitanyam that is your swarupa, that is your own true nature, the consciousness that is your own true nature, sakshatkara paryantam, sakshatkara paryantam. Now the sakshatkara has become another trip for people. Brahmakara vritti itself is sakshatkara. Then what do you mean sakshatkara? Sakshat akara, meaning you are rooted in this knowledge. The knowledge is a fact of your life. Like how round earth and flat earth are both your completely comfortable. No problems. Similarly, when you are living a life, that of a samsara, that of a householder or that of a sadhu, or anywhere and anything in between. Okay, when you are living like that, when you are equally comfortable with both the knowledge, you can deal with the world knowing it is mithya and aham satyam is crystal clear. Until that is called sakshatkara. Until that, Until then, okay? Paryantam. Until then, what do you need? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Samadhi, Anushtanam. Mainly Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Okay, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is necessary. How long? Until you are clear. Because we are not studying a text. Swamiji, we have come a long way in Vedanta. Gita over, Upanishad over, Brahma Sutra, Sutri over. All that is over. No, Brahma Sutra, first pada is also over. Then Tarka Sangraha will be over, Vedanta Paribhasha will be over, Naishkarma Siddhi will be over, and if we can go further, then we will do Advaita Siddhi, Chit Sukhi, Khanna Khanna Khadya. We can do. I can keep on teaching, not a problem. When is your study done? Brahma Sakshatkara. I am that pure consciousness, I am comfortable with that. Two of my students, I knew their time was near. Meaning they had a couple of years, so I knew that. Now don't ask me how and all that. I knew. Don't digress from the point I am trying to make. They had studied a fair amount of text with me. So what next? I said, spend your time in Nididhyasana. They had done enough Shravanam Mananam. Spend your time in Nididhyasana. Hearing that there are one or two idiots in the same class. I said, Swamiji, I will keep in touch with the videos and everything. I am going to spend more time in Nididhyasana. If you are decided, why are you are only informing me? You are not asking me. If they had asked me, I would have said, no, you need Shravana Mananam. Since they are informing me, I said, go ahead. If not this lifetime, next lifetime, where is the problem? Because what the teacher prescribes for one person will not be applicable to somebody else. Okay. You go to a doctor with a stomachache. The doctor examines you, find it is flatulence plus some spasm it has gone into. So he gives you an antispasmodic plus something to relieve the gas. So other person listening to say, I also have stomach, why should I pay him consultancy? I will go and take the same medicine. But his stomachache is because of an ulcer. What will happen with putting Dispirin inside or Compiflam etc. inside, what will happen? His problem is because of an ulcer. Same prescriptions don't work. Symptoms are same, that's all. So, until you are comfortable with this knowledge, Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. Alright, what is that? Now, alright, Shravana Manana, Shravanam literally means listening. Thoda different. There are types and types of listening. Okay. I started the workshops, but people are not showing enough response. I stopped with a few of them. There are types of listening. Those who attended my workshop, I showed the most basic form of listening. When you listen to somebody, acknowledge what the person is saying, invite the person to show more. Remember, inviting statements are different from questions. Why is that? Why did you do that? Why did that? Make an interrogation mein baitha hai kya? No, invite. That's interesting. Can you please tell me more about it? How did that thing work out? Then the person feels like, okay, so inviting. Don't try that in a class, okay? The fact you are present here is an invitation for me to speak. Clarification. When you have a doubt, etc., clarify. That you all are doing well enough. That's basic Shravanam. Yeah. Then, there's more. There's more to Shravanam. empathetic listening. How to listen with empathy. Yeah. How to go beyond the words. Can you listen to me now? Okay, the net is giving some troubles, but we will set it right. Okay, hotspot. Yep.
This also shows that how much you must have technology, however dated it may be, 4G, 5G and all that. Only when you are fated to listen to this, you will get it. Otherwise, no. Objection and the obstacles all keep on coming. As the writing said, you can't move it. It's going to be there. That's the life. That is life.
Okay. Okay, am I clear to everyone now? Okay, am I clear to everyone?
Yeah, but we couldn't hear from you for some time.
That is true. I told you there is a problem with the Wi-Fi. I had said right there in the beginning of the class, I am keeping my phone ready to shift over if necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Therefore, until this knowledge is a fact of your life, you continue with Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Okay. Therefore, as I was saying, what is Shravanam? Empathetic listening, to go beyond the stated word. Men are poor in that. Okay. To give a common example, your child comes home from school, throws his bag on the sofa and says, "Stupid school, I don't want to go back." What do? Give a whole dialogue on how important education is? Is that what you're going to do there at that time?
So we have been doing it.
Yeah, Sashi, you said something?
So I said, yes, this is what we have been doing.
My empathy is coming to it a little bit to a short end now, you know. You give a bhashan, then that is not what the child wants. Yeah. You need to make statements which show the child that you understand the child's feeling. What do you think the child is feeling? What do you think the child is feeling? All of your parents, no? Most of your parents or are dealing with kids. Tell me, what do you think the child is feeling?
He's feeling dejected, probably let down due to some incident or something that has happened in the school. Could be.
Do you know what exactly has happened? Until the child says, you won't know. So how do you make the child say more? What happened in school? Somebody bullied you somewhere? What do you think the child will do?
He will not answer.
So what do you say? One statement that can help the child to open up.
We have to tell, I can see you are upset. I mean, acknowledge the emotion.
Yeah, you see everything, okay?
I don't do all that.
You know the child is upset. How do you reflect that emotion without a question?
Looks like it's been a rough day at school.
Yeah, you have been a tough day. Difficult day at school. Yeah, the child will open up. You show the child you understand, you care. You reflect the emotion that the child is displaying. Empathetic listening. I am not going to go into that. This is not a workshop on communication. Okay. Most of you, when you come to me with a problem, I have done this. If you all remember. Yeah. This is natural. This shows you have empathy. Everyone has empathy, but they don't know how to show it. So there are different types of listening. Vedanta listening is highly logical. Not that emotion is not involved. Every Vedantin is very emotionally sensitive as well. Why? Samadhamma, you have to learn to handle your own emotions. If you learn to handle your own emotions, you will be empathetic to other people's emotions. Therefore, if you are not empathetic to other people's emotions, check what are you running away from. What are you running away from in your life? What emotions are you running away from? What emotions are you denying in your own life? One hint, whatever you are getting upset or angry with will tell you what is the emotion that you are running away from. One hint, okay? That we can do one-to-one or in a workshop. Chalo. Vedanta Shravanam is very highly defined. You need to have, okay, in general I will make one point. When you listen, you have to be focused enough, naturally focused enough. But when you are focused, you are very alert in this thing. At the same time, you need to be relaxed. Let your mind go with the words. The words will reveal the truth. Your mind will see the truth. It is like something like this. We are walking on the road and I say, ah, what a beautiful moon. Yesterday, Sunday, second day moon. Second day, third day. Sorry, today is Sunday. No, second day moon. You're walking. What do you mean? And you ask me, what moon? Oh, you can't see the moon? No. Hold on, I'll show it. Can you see that building there? If you say we can proceed. If you stay there and say, but Swamiji, you talked about the moon, why are you talking about the building? This is what happens very often in the class. Can we proceed then? So you see that building? Yeah. Now look at the roof of that building? Yeah. Can you see that TV antenna there? Yep. Just look just above the TV antenna. That which was what? Moon. Now could you have seen that moon if you are going to question every step? Swamiji, moon, why building? Swamiji, moon, why TV at roof? Swamiji, moon, why TV antenna? Correct? Am I making a point or not making a point? Swamiji, does that mean we don't ask a question? No, you ask. You wait for the process to be over. Then say, there, can you see the moon now? If you can't see, then ask. If you see, there is no need to ask. If you see, there is no need to ask. Na? You know, that was the process used to point it out. If you don't see it, then ask. Swamiji, I'm sorry, I don't see the moon. Do you see other things? Yeah, I saw other things. Then don't worry, there are other methodologies available. This is called Chandra Shaka Nyaya, pointing out the moon using the tree. But we are living in a concrete jungle, where tree? Where tree? Oh, concrete jungle. No, it's not that bad. There are trees in Bombay. And where we stay in Chembur, there are a lot of trees. Okay. Yeah. But for a change. Okay. So, now, apart from all this, this is general Vedanta Shravanam how to do. You are alert and relaxed. You learn to let the mind go and see the meaning of the words. This is general. But Shravanam technically a little bit more than that. So after having done this, important to understand, after having done this, you come to the technical aspect of the Shravanam. The technical aspect of the Shravanam is more for the Guru than the student. Okay? Alright, here it is. What is that? Shravanam Nama, what is called as Shravanam? Shadlingaihi, by the 6 lingas, tools. Okay? Ashesha Vedantanam, the entire Vedanta Shastra, Advitiyam Vastuni Tatparya Avadharanam. It all deals with the Advitiya Vastu, the non-dual reality. Okay? Tat Avadharanam Shravanam. So, using the 6 tools of analysis, 6 tools for analysis, you come to the conclusion, to the well ascertained definite conclusion that Advitiyam Brahman is the subject matter of Vedanta. Brahmaham asmi iti. With your logic. Why? Because there will be enough things to question that logic. So, what are the tools? When you are listening, the teacher is making you the use of the tools. Okay? What are the tools? All right. Lingani. Lingani tu upakrama upasamhara. Upakrama, how you begin. Upasamhara, how you end. Okay? Because beginning and end has to be in harmony. Imagine a Vedanta teaching that goes like this. Okay? What is that? There are 2 things in Vedanta. One is Atma, one is Anatma. Starts like that. Then goes on. Therefore, you have Drigdrishya Viveka. And by the Drigdrishya Viveka, you come to the conclusion that Atma Chaitanyam Eva. Having come to the conclusion, Atma Chaitanyam Eva, you say, therefore, there is only one consciousness. What is wrong with this presentation? No, wrong, it's all correct, no? No. The student will have a doubt. What is that? You started by saying there are 2 things. Seer and seen. They have 2 definite categories. Then afterward you are concluding there is only one consciousness. What about the seen world? But that we are negated now. How have you negated? You only use seer-seen logic. In seer-seen logic, you have not negated the world. Therefore, the upakrama and upasamhara is not in harmony. The beginning and the end is not in harmony. Now, unfolding sometimes may not follow all technically correct. Why? Because we have to start from where you are. Therefore, sometimes we will talk about the problem first, the human problem first. Why? Unless the problem is not clear, how will the solution be clear? And you have not come because to know what the Atma is. You have come because you have an existential issue. Isolation, loneliness, etc. And that is what you want to handle. So we start with that. Therefore, upakrama, upasamhara, they have to be in harmony. That's one way you have to see. Now, this analysis is valid for any book, any subject matter, okay? Except for one point, all other points are valid. When you are studying any book, any subject matter, this analysis will hold good. Upakrama, upasamhara. Then, abhyasa. It has to be repeatedly explained. It cannot be a stray statement somewhere. Like in the Bible, there is a stray statement, Father and Son are one. But that doesn't mean Aham Brahmasmi is the subject matter of the Bible. It's a stray statement. It's a stray statement. Old Testament, the whole book talks about rules, regulations, etc. And with one statement, I am that I am. So that is not the ascertained Tatparya. For a Tatparya, the idea has to be said from more ways than one. You have to come back to the idea again and again. To the idea that is introduced, to come back again and again and explain it. Then you will say that's the subject matter. Like if you look at the Bible, subject matter is heaven going. Everything is about going to heaven. Not moksha. Whereas in Upanishad, heaven is a straight statement. Moksha, you come back to the point. Jnanam, again and again you will come back. Abhyasa, repetition. Okay. Apurvata. Remember, it is a pramanam, not just a book on a subject. Therefore, it must have uniqueness. What do you mean uniqueness? What Vedanta can give you, you should not be able to gain from any other pramana. Meaning, what Vedanta is being presented, you will not be able to gain through perception, inference, deductive logic, arthapatti, upamanam, comparison, anupalabdhi, recognizing those things that are not there. By none of these five means, you should be able to get that. That is why Vedanta is not scientific. Those people who are trying to make Vedanta scientific, including some very popular teachers, are doing a disservice to Vedanta. Apurvata, uniqueness. Like, you know, iron is iron, gold is gold. Correct? Do you need scientific knowledge to know iron and gold are two different things? Like Sashi says, she does not remember her school physics. Right, Sashi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but you take a piece of gold in your hand and you take a piece of iron in your hand, will you not be able to make out the difference?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, good. Do you need physics knowledge to make out this difference? No. But if there is an underlying reality, what is that? That both are matter, both are made up of atoms and molecules, and all that is an expression of energy. Therefore, all matter is nothing but energy, and all matter can be converted to energy under the formula E is equal to mc squared. That is physics. That knowledge your perception will not give you. You have to use perception, inference, arthapatti. Are you getting what I am trying to say? There is an apurvata of physics. There is an apurvata of biology. Will physics give you biology knowledge? How a cell works? No. Therefore, biology has got an apurvata within the world, okay? But all of them depend upon five pramanas. All of them. Or at least four pramanas they will definitely depend upon. Five also. Half the time your medical diagnosis takes place because of anupalabdhi. You recognize that these are not there, these are not there, these are not there. Therefore, it has to be this, isn't it? In your diagnosis. You look at an RT-PCR report. They will never say you are free from virus. They will only say it is not found. They're using Anupalabdhi Pramanam. Yeah, you get an RT-PCR. I did a couple of them. I'm always looking at the report. Bloody hell, they're not saying I don't have it. They're saying the virus is not found. That's all they're saying. Anupalabdhi they're using all the time. There are reasons for it that I don't want to go into it. I'm not running down medicine. I'm just saying this is what Anupalabdhi Pramana is being used there. They're relying on Anupalabdhi. Yeah. Vedanta has to give you something which is independent of these five. Completely independent of these five Pramanas is Vedanta Pramanam. That is the uniqueness of it. That's the apurvata. Therefore, what Vedanta will give you, science cannot give you. And what Vedanta will give you is not necessarily scientific. What science can give, Vedanta cannot give. And that's okay. That's okay. Why? Apurvata. If I tell a biologist what biology can give, physics cannot give, is it running down physics? What physics can give, biology cannot give, is it running down biology? No. Apurvata. Then why is this rush to make Vedanta scientific? Because the guys don't know what they are talking about. They don't know what Vedanta is as a pramana. They don't know. They are taking it as a school of philosophy. And since once upon a time there was a tyranny of the Bible, now there is a tyranny of science. And worse, in Bible there was a clergy, there was a pope and the clergy who insisted on the Bible and everything had to follow suit. Now you know what? Every country has replaced the Bible with something else. You know what is that? Kavita, you know what is that? You should know. The Constitution of India. Yes, every country has replaced the Bible with the Constitution, and there is a clergy that insists on it, that pokes their nose on everything what doesn't concern them also. With the Supreme Court judges as the Pope and the Cardinals. Think about it, it is not just a joke. Yeah, think about it. And the Constitution being framed but not knowing half the things that happen in this country. They studied the British Constitution and the American one, then try to amalgamate everything. Super mess. Anyway, another part. Uniqueness, apurvata has to be there. Okay. Phalam should have a result. What is the point in studying all this? What is the result? Otherwise, you will be like that idiotic scientist who will say, for me, searching for the answers are more important than finding the answers. You are an idiot. Or they are paying you so well for the searching, you are happy with the searching. You don't want answers. Because you don't know what to do with your life once the answer is found. Then you have to declare the answer, then your funding stops. Because funding was meant for this, you don't want it. Abhi kya karega? What do you do with your life when you found the answer? Vedanta is no problems. Anandom, Palavat. You live in Ananda, do whatever you want. Kya farak pada? Okay, Palam. Arthavadaha. This you may not find in modern literature or scientific literature, you will not find. Arthavada is praise or criticism. When you praise something, you know the heart is there. Your intention is to highlight that. When you criticize something, you know the intention is to highlight the opposite. Knowing something, everything else is known. All that is praise. Not to be taken literally. Application I'll show you all, but understand the basic. Arthavada. And most important, he has put it for the last, Upapattihi. It should be demonstrable. That means it should be logically provable. Demonstration means there should be an example or something available. Meaning, it should be logically presented. Whatever is said in spirituality can be beyond logic, but it cannot be illogical. It has to be logically stated and presented. That there is heaven is beyond logic, but heaven is eternal is illogical. Because you go there in time and space, it exists at a time and space, not here. Therefore, anything that's conditioned by time and space has to be finite. Eternal heaven is a bluff. Heaven is beyond logic. We don't know. We both die and both of us go to the same place. We will know. You can say, Bola tha na? Aisa hai. And believe me, it will never be how it is described. Because you are describing a 4-dimensional thing with 3-dimensional logic. So it will never be the same. I imagine what the poor mullahs will do. Anyway, that apart, therefore, upapatti, logic. These 6 factors will show you what is the intention of the speaker. A good speaker highlights a few of these points every time. Now, every point may not be highlighted. Yeah. Now, we are not talking about illogical politicians, okay, we leave them out of the picture. Like one of our political leaders says that, my aim is to go and meet all the people who are dead. Probably he meant the families of the people who died. Probably. But what he said was, my aim is to go and meet all the people who are dead. So go kill yourself, na? Die. How else will you meet them? How else will you meet them? Yeah. Therefore, by this, any technical text, works of science, by this Shadlinga Vichara, you can understand what exactly is the Tatparyam. Tatparyam, remember, even when someone is giving a talk or someone is saying something simple, the heart of communication is what? That you understand the intention of the speaker. The speaker has to present his intention. What is inside has to be presented. And what you are hearing has to go to the understanding the intent. No? Otherwise, you can have all types of fights just based on what you said. But you said that to me. How did you say that to me? Baba, this is what I meant. No, I don't want to. Then you have a fight, you don't have communication. Sorry, you have a marriage. Yeah. Yeah. Because we're carrying so much of baggage, all this thing comes up in a communication. So, Shadlinga Vicharaihi, to understand that the Tatparya of Vedanta is Aham Brahmasmi iti. Then the knowledge is clear. And because the teacher is unfolding a text, remember, you have to understand one thing. Every class will not have all the 6. Why? Because the text is one whole, na? Text is one whole. So, in the whole, that thing will be there. But in any text, in any class, you will find a few of them. Upapatti, Arthavada may not be there. Abhyasa will definitely be there. Akhandakara Vritti, how many times you have repeated in the last 1 month? How many times have you repeated in the last 1 month? I lost count. Abhyada will be there. Logic will be there. Okay. All that will be there. Okay. Okay. Apurvata, of course, will be there. Because what Vedanta presents is unique anyway. That means what? When you listen to somebody who is saying Vedanta is scientific, you know for sure there is a problem in that unfoldment. Na? Because if Vedanta is saying the same thing science is saying, where is Apurvata for Vedanta? Gadbad hai. Gadbad hai. This is Vedic science. Even that statement is wrong. Even that statement is wrong. Because the paradigm of science and the Veda are different. Yogic science, wrong statement. Paradigms are different. Paradigms are different. Ancient scientists in this country found this knowledge. Sorry, paradigms are different. Just because logically you want to call it scientific. That's the problem. The problem is just because logically you want to call it scientific. Read my article, The Tyranny of Science. Short article, but it highlights it. Very short article, 350 words only. Is what I call an article-let. You know. The small one. Huh? Yeah. Now don't say chicklet is a small chick. And omelette is a small om, okay? Humor they have not mentioned here. In the Shadlinga Vichara, they have not mentioned humor. But all Vedanta teachers use humor. Where does that come in? Where does it come in? In the unfoldment. In the Shadlinga, where does humor come in? Arthavada, because you are highlighting something with humor, na? You are highlighting something. Humor is used to drive home a point. Yeah. You will not forget article-let because you will link it up with chicklet and omelette now. A small article, that's what I mean. See, I am highlighting something. Arthavada. Yeah. So jokes, stories, jokes, stories, illustrations, sharing of experiences, all that will come under Arthavada. Important part, because only then communication happens, no? It's all part of communication. You're sharing a story, sharing a life history, this is how it happened. So that gives you an insight into what's happening. It's all meant for unfoldment of the truth. Yeah. This is not stories over a cup of coffee or over a beer. That's different. Those stories are different. These stories are different. Yeah. There also, there Tatparya is different. Tatparya is bonding there. Yeah. Here Tatparya is knowing the truth. Aham Brahmasmi iti Tatparya. Therefore, by all these ways you come to that conclusion. Okay. There is more to it. Now, how this is applied? Okay. How this is going to be applied? We will see. Yep, Nita.
Swamiji, Anubandha Chatushtaya also includes
No.
some of...
This is Shadlinga Vichara.
No, I know.
Anubandha Chatushtayam is what is stating what a text is about.
No, I thought that Upakrama, Upasamhara...
Nope. Let's do entirely a different topic. Yeah. So, we will take a couple of Vedanta texts. He takes one text. We will take one or two more texts and see how this is applied. So, you know how to apply it in your life. Okay. How the Shadlinga Vichara. We will take the whole Gita and see how it is applied. And then I maybe give you homework with some smaller texts. Yeah, because only then you will know for sure. Na? Only when you do it, you know for sure how to do it. Because this is advanced Shravanam. Okay? Shravanam from simple listening, letting your mind go, which is a very, very important part. It's simple, but that's fundamental. After that fundamental Shravanam, this part of the Shravanam comes in. Okay? So you can analyze a text, you can analyze this, and you can independently learn to analyze and understand. It will help your swadhyaya. Shravanam is also studying the text. Okay, and saying, okay, whose teaching is effective? All that you will come to know. Okay, is he following this or is he going off tangential? Okay. So, good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.